Hey everyone, I'm Nico Chief Bricks, and today I am building a Clone Wars mock where I will be using a random generator to figure out what vehicle I will be using and what terrain I will be building. Before we get started, go ahead and lightsaber slash that like button and subscribe if you are new so you do not miss any more LEGO Star Wars content. And without further ado, let's figure out what I'm building. So I added some vehicles that I have in my collection to this spin the wheel, so without further ado, let's spin the wheel. Alright, looks like for this mock I will be using the Brick Vault ATTE, and with that build being pretty big, I'm going to use 2 base plates. Now let's spin the wheel for the terrain. Alright, so it looks like the terrain is going to be fully grass. So starting off, I knew I wouldn't have enough green plates to cover up the entirety of the 2 base plates, so I sprinkled in some sand and dark tan plates to add different spots, at least some different color to the landscape, but obviously majority of it was going to be green because I did land on grass in the spin the wheel. Once I was done with that, I started layering numerous plates around each spot that wasn't green, so the tan and the dark tan. This helped by creating a very nice outline and separating the tan and dark tan from all the other green plates. Once I was done with that, I wanted to add 2 little ponds in this mock, so I did them in 2 of the light green plates. And once I was done, I added a bunch of wedge pieces circling around both ponds, just to add some texture and make some jagged edges. And then I was thinking about where I should put plants and stuff like that. So for both ponds, I put a bunch of 1x1 studs and then filled them all with the 3-stemmed leaf pieces. I also wanted to add a bunch of rock formations to the mock, so I placed 2 of the kind of already preformed rock formations next to each other, and then I started filling them up with a bunch of slopes to make them a lot more detailed and, not just like basic. And then I did so with another type of preformed rock formation, and I did it in the opposite corner. For these spots like the dark tan and the sand, I wanted to at least add a little bit of texture within them, not just leave them flat and barren and, the rest of the mock is detailed. So I just added a bunch of little slope pieces and a bunch of plates to just add some texture, especially in the middle of them. With the sand, I didn't have as much texture in pieces as I do with dark tan, so I just layered some plates in them just to not make them flat. And I did that with pretty much every single spot that's dark tan and tan. So for the plant pieces, I knew I wouldn't have enough to just fill out the entire mock with all of them together. And I feel like in my mocks, I've either had them all together or had none at all. So I kind of met in the middle and I just spaced them out throughout the entire mock, leaving a bunch of studs in between each one. So they're not all clumped together. And it definitely was a good idea doing that. Once all the plant pieces were done and the landscape finished, it was time to bring in the ATTE, so I placed it in the middle. And now for the end of the mock, it was time to place the clone troopers. For this specific mock, I went with the 501st Legion. My goal was to place a bunch of them because this ATTE can fit a lot, so I also wanted to have a bunch of troops on the outside for this massive clone patrol. So here is the completed Clone Wars mock. This is a 501st Patrol using an ATTE. Now this specific ATTE is from Brick Vault, is minifigure scale, and it is one of my favorite builds in my collection. So the 501st Legion has decided to take a break from this long patrol. On this planet, the ATTE has stopped and some of the clones are getting off and walking around, and they're going to discuss what options to go for next. So what I really like about this minifigure scale ATTE is that each side has 2 hatches that can come down, 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and I really like that. And they just fit just seamlessly on the wall, which I really like. So I decided to show some clones getting out on each side, and then so these 2 clones are talking here. This clone just got off. And then up here at the front, I just have some clones walking here to the front. Here's a little closer look of the plant formation that I went with, where I kind of just spaced them out throughout the entire build. And this definitely was a good option to go, especially for this size of a mock. Putting them all together, definitely I would not have enough, and it would look very clumped for what I was going for. And then this rock formation here at the front, the ATT is going to have to take a small turn when they resume patrol. but I had enough slope pieces to at least make it look pretty good. I could use some more like to go here, but with the collection that I had, I think I did pretty good. Here in the rear section of the ATTE, I didn't want all the clones to be in the ATTE. For this big of a patrol, I wanted there to be more clones in the back plus the ATTE. So I decided to put a bunch of 501st Clone Troopers like following the patrol. And so we have our little pond here. I put a couple of clear studs just to kind of act as like a little bit of waves and a little bit of more color to the river. And I have 2 clones walking around the little pond, because obviously they're not going to walk in. Why would they just walk straight into it? So I have some going around it with the rest of the 501st Troopers. On this side are 2 more of the rock formations. Starting over here, this is another like one of the pre-formed rocks, and I used just a bunch of like the 1x2 slope pieces. Same with the other rock formation. I could definitely use a couple more pieces, but with my collection, I made it work. And then over here on the other side, I have both hatches down with clones walking out on each of them and just some clones having a conversation. Same over here. This would not be a 501st mock without Captain Rex, so he's going over some orders with some clone troopers here at the front of the patrol. Here at the top of the ATT, I added a gunner for the main cannon. And of course, this minifigure scale ATT has a massive interior, and I did not want to leave that empty. Starting off here in the back, I have a clone trooper for each of the ball turrets. And then I didn't want to fill up all the chairs because obviously clones are getting off, so I put a clone here like he's about to exit the hatch. Same with the front, I did the same. I kind of added troops in different chairs to make it at least look different, but I have a clone trooper about to leave the hatch to go outside. Building this mock was a very fun experience. Getting to randomly spin a wheel to see what vehicle I will be using and the terrain to be building adds a bit of mystery and excitement to the mock building process. And this is definitely something I would want to do again, since I do have a lot of vehicles in my collection. So I can really experiment with some of that stuff. So this is definitely a very awesome experience. If you enjoyed the video, definitely lightsaber slash that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel, so you do not miss any more LEGO Star Wars content. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.